Welcome to Tough Conversations with David Wood, where play meets depth. We help teams and high-performing leaders like you to master your tough conversations so you succeed in your career and in your life. When we avoid tough conversations, we stay small. Teams stay disengaged, conflicted, and ultimately end up quitting. When we lean in and master our tough conversations, they become the defining moments that literally shape our careers, our relationships, and our lives. So let's dive in and master your next tough conversation so you can be the leader that you would follow. Let's play. A big shout out and thank you for this wonderful review on iTunes. The Mental Coach, which I believe is Chris Doris. I know I'm listening to an amazing podcast, and I know I want to subscribe to that podcast when I'm inspired to pause it, take notes, send myself an email with a new idea, etc. This is one of those. I normally listen to podcasts when I'm on my morning walks. David, I hope you'll continue to make longer ones, as that'll keep me out walking longer as I learn. Thanks for being so thorough and committed to having your audience take away practical lessons and specific actionable items. I love it. Thank you, Chris Doris. I really appreciate your reviews, guys. If you love this episode, at the end there'll be a link for how you could leave a review, and perhaps I'll read that out on a future episode. And now, on with the show. Welcome, listeners. This is a very powerful episode. It's another case study from our free weekly Zoom call where we help listeners just like you role play their tough conversations. Confidentially, they can turn the video off, they can use a fake name, and we dive straight into it and empower them to go out and have that tough conversation. So let's join in on the role play. All right, so in a nutshell, who's the issue with and what's the issue?
There's issues with the staff. So I work at a large institution and I have multiple direct reports. So I have 32. I need a management team. Like, I'm all that there is right now.
Okay, you need a management team. Got it? And what do you feel like the tough conversation is going to be? Because this doesn't sound tough so far. It sounds like you need a management layer. Okay, you've been asked to sort it out. Where's the awkward issue to talk about?
Well, because it's probably going to have, because it's adding positions. So it's going to be money, funding.
Okay. We need money. All right.
Yeah. So I guess how to present it in a way that the institution is going to want to put forth the money. And if they don't, then what are my next steps? Because I cannot continue to work at the level that I'm at right now.
Okay, great. So that's now sounding very clear to me. You've got an enrollment conversation that you want to have. You have a vision. You can see what's needed. You need some money. You actually have a request and you'd like to enroll them or sell them on this idea so that they give you what you want.
Correct.
Okay, great. And then you're already looking at, all right, like, how important is this to me? Seems like this is a deal breaker. This is a requirement because you've said you can't function at the way you are. So it sounds like you're also looking at what are your backup options if they say no.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, let's go there. Let's find out, because I think it's worth knowing when you go in to speak your truth. Is this just sharing and you're not attached to the outcome? Is this a requirement, which is very close to a demand? Like, this has to happen, or X. So let's find out what would happen. Let's suppose they say, we just don't have the money for that, or we don't think it's worth it. What are you going to do?
Well, if I don't have, so I'm doing some networking and exploring some options while I'm out right now.
You mean find another job?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. So this is good. This has given me some good background. I wanted to prep this and find out kind of the lay of the land so that we can role play a tough conversation. And I'll be you, and you can be the person you need to speak to. So you up for a quick role play?
I think so.
All right. This will be easy for you because you get to be Bill. So I'm going to be you. I'm going to bring the issue. I'm going to be the one making the request. You just say whatever you think Bill would say. And don't worry about trying to be easy on me. If you think Bill's going to get angry, get angry. If you think Bill's going to, you can say whatever you're worried Bill would say and see how someone else might deal with it.
Okay.
Okay. Great. So
Ring, ring. Oh, we got to give you a face. Oh, you're Wonder Woman. Okay, Bill. Bill. This is Wonder Woman. Hello.
Hello, Wonder Woman.
Hey. So, Bill, have you got? I need to talk to you for about 10 minutes, and it's about this staffing issue. And I think in 10 minutes we can knock it out. And my hope is that we find something that really works for the team, so that we can basically double productivity. If you got 10 minutes, does that work now?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, thank you. Now, my fear or my hesitation in bringing this up, what I'm concerned about is that you might not agree with me. You might say no and not authorize the funds. And I'm worried about that because I don't see another solution. I can't keep going the way I am. And that'd be pretty awkward, and I'd feel stuck between a rock and a hard place. So that's my hesitation and why I've been nervous about it. But I'm pretty sure we could work out a solution. So I wanted to bring it up anyway.
Okay, well, as you know, money is always hard for your discipline because it's non-revenue producing. In, healthcare, we're in an awkward, position, constantly trying to fund everything that we want to. So what exactly are you thinking about?
Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad you brought that up. That sounds right. It's non-revenue producing, so money's always going to be harder to get than for some other departments. But here's what I'm seeing. If we keep going the way we're going, it's going to be very expensive. We're going to make a lot of mistakes. We're going to lose people. We're going to lose me, to be honest, because it's just not functioning. So we need something. Now, I'm open to other solutions. I want to tell you the one I've got is we need to install someone between me and the team, another layer of management. It's going to cost this much. And that's the best I've come up with to solve this so that it doesn't become a train wreck. And I want to know what you think. If you've got a better idea or a way to solve it, I'm all ears, but we need something. So what are you thinking?
Well, the growth of the program has relied on donor dollars, so that's probably where we're going to have to go again. So we're going to have to find a donor that believes in the program and believes in adding a position that does not have direct patient care.
Okay.
And that's hard for a donor, to want to do if it's not directly patient facing.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So that's a challenge. So I just want to make it clear. It's a bit awkward for me to say this, but I can't keep going the way it's going. I want to make sure that that's clear so there's no surprises later on. Like, wait, why'd she quit? Why'd that happen? And I wonder, how is it for you to hear that, Bill? Is that a surprise? Is it a shock? Or is it expected? I'm curious.
I didn't know things have gotten so bad or unmanageable. So what exactly are you saying? Are you already actively, well, even though he would probably not be able to ask me, he would ask me if I was already actively looking for a new position.
Yeah, well, I've thought about it. I've started to be like, what are my exit strategies if this doesn't work? But I think it's a bit early to be looking right now, but I'm just getting to that point. I want to talk to you. I want to see how much support I have from you to make this work. And if we make it work, then I'm not going to look. But if it's not working out, then I'm going to start exploring options for sure.
Okay. We like everything that you've been doing, and we like you. And you've been here for 20 years, so you've done a lot with the program. It's just been a very difficult time with healthcare and funding, and then different leadership styles coming in. And so now we have to wait and find out with the new leader what their priority is. Child life a priority, that kind of stuff, which has been difficult for you because you've gone through 4 different leaders already in the past 6 years.
Yeah. Well, Bill, I definitely don't envy you your job. That can't be easy. And so I think I appreciate that it might be tricky. I want to stop the role play there and ask you, Wonder Woman, what did you get out of that role play? Did you see anything that was a learning for you or something you could use?
Just kind of some of the terminology, and the thing that's hard with the role playing is that, for lack of you don't have the emotion in it that I do. Like,
Right.
vetted, the time that's been vetted in the program, the, history that this person knows. So that is my biggest thing, is I need to keep, my emotion, or quote unquote passion, somewhat out of that.
Yeah.
And not, even keel, like you were.
Yeah.
All right.
That's great awareness. And something I found really good for releasing that charge is to do a role play like this. And you could do a role play with a friend where they be Bill and you be you. So you get to just really practice it and talk it out. Get all that charge out so that when you go to Bill, Bill can hear your content. Otherwise, all Bill's going to hear is your charge, that you're attached to it and you're upset, and what he's going to respond to that, because we're animals ultimately. But you get rid of the charge, you could see that the way I was speaking is I'm just matter of fact. I want to get it working. I'm committed to it. If it doesn't, I'll need to go. What do you think? I want to be collaborative. It's easy for me because I don't have that charge.
For sure. Yes. And the other thing too is that this conversation is just something that's been had for like 5 years over and over again. But I haven't gotten to the point where, and it's been a year now. Like, this isn't just a reactive thing that I'm looking at other stuff. It's just, it can't, if it stays at this level, I can't continue staying at the level. So
right.
Whatever I talk to my manager about is, if this plan that I put forth can't be put, then I need to start taking things off my plate. There's going to be some things that aren't going to get done.
Okay. So that might be
yeah.
That might be another option. Instead of quitting, you might just be like, I need to reduce my responsibilities.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good. All right. So you got some options. So let me summarize for you and for listeners. That role play we did, I kind of took us through 4 steps, and you can download the blueprint at playforreal.life. It's a 4-step blueprint on how to have a tough conversation. So I'll recap what we did. 1, I asked for permission. Can we talk? I gave you a time frame. 2, I shared 1 hope and 1 fear. I hope that we'll, be able to get on the same page and really come up with a solution for this. My fear is that nothing will change and I might need to go and get another job. And then 3, I shared the issue and I made a request. I often slip that in with the issue, make a request. My request is that you pay for another staff member. And then step 4, super important, get curious and listen. Bill, what do you think? How is it for you to hear this? Is it a surprise to you that I'm saying I might need to leave? This is a chance to really listen so Bill can get everything out and not have to hold something on so that he's got a tough conversation to have with you in a week. We get it all sorted now. And we got collaborative. It's like, well, you got other ideas. All right. And then now I got another idea. Let's work it out together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we always are fine with having the conversation. The conversation just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So that there's a concern. My concern is that we might talk about it and nothing happens.
Yeah.
So you can mention that. And then one great way to counter that is to make a clear request. My request is that you fund it and that you fund it by this date. If you don't fund it by this date, I think I'm going to have to cut back my responsibilities or quit. Like, that's how extreme this is. So I want to put a time frame on it, because you want to avoid the dirty yes or the lazy yes. The lazy yes is, and I just made up some of those terms right now. The lazy yes is, yes, we'll do it, but I'll put no time frame on it. You're just going to have to chase me until I'm dead.
That's what I've done so far.
Yeah, because I'm not going to get around to it. That's annoying. Right. A lazy yes. And the other one is the dirty yes. No, I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to say yes to your face. So a way to get around that is a clear time frame, clear request. This is a bad metaphor or analogy, but in open relationships, if someone wants to see other people and the other person's a no, I'm just not ready yet. Well, they could drag that on for 20 years. I'm just not ready yet, right?
Right.
But let's say it's really important to the other person. They need to see motion. That's where you need those time frames. All right. Can we agree? We'll give it 2 weeks. Then we'll revisit in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, you will be a yes, or we'll decide if we're willing to renegotiate another time frame. Now that's ninja, because
I
the
think
other
that-
person can't keep giving the lazy yes.
Yeah. I think that's something that I have not, I haven't used that approach in the past.
Right. Yeah.
So that-
Well, it's very uncommon. I wasn't taught to hold people accountable. So it's quite common that people are sliding and that, there's no real commitments. But you can step up and make a leadership move, which is make a clear request with time frame. And they say, well, let's just see how it goes and we'll revisit it down the track. Actually, it's a little more important than that and time sensitive. I'd like to establish some clear time frames so that we can either measure, yes, this is happening, or it's not happening, and I can make other decisions. Like, you're the only one that can be responsible for pushing that.
Right.
If they're not, because you're the one that's got the agenda. And then you hold them gently accountable to that. Like, well, we said this is the time frame or whatever. And then ultimately, if someone keeps pushing back a time frame, then I might say, it seems like you're a no. You're telling me yes, but you're not showing up like a yes. So should we just call it, we'll have that conversation.
Right. I mean, that would be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another tough conversation, holding someone accountable. But again, you can follow these 4 steps in the blueprint. Ask permission, share a hope and a fear, share the issue. I feel like it's sliding. There's no time frame accountability. My request is we implement that. How is it for you to hear? Like, you follow those same 4 steps with that too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, good.
So,
Thank you, Wonder Woman.
have a great weekend.
You too.
You're welcome to join us on the free weekly Zoom call to role play your tough conversation live. Again, it can be confidential if you like. Turn off the video, use a fake name. We're happy to help you get empowered so you can go out and have that conversation in the world. Register at playforreal.life/Zoom register. You've been listening to Tough Conversations with David Wood. Now it's action time. Mastering your tough conversations will have a major impact on your team, your company, and you as a high-performing executive or entrepreneur. If you're ready, request a discovery session with me at playforreal.life so we can transform your team, your company, and you. And if you've enjoyed this episode, I would love you to help me spread this message of tough conversations in a very simple way. Just leave a public review at playforreal.life/podcast. And you may hear me read it out loud and thank you live on a future podcast. Now, let's play.